have my. Sorry about that. All right, everyone. Good evening and welcome to the Tempe City Council regular council meeting for June 25th, 2020, and we are meeting virtually once again. Due to the concerns of the COVID-19 exposure, the city has implemented measures to protect our community, including the closing of the council chambers and limiting public attendance to electronic means only. Members of the public may view the live meeting proceedings on Tempe Channel 11 and attend the meeting virtually through Cisco WebEx events by visiting tempe.gov/clerk for more information. And you can also submit comments via the City of Tempe speaker comment card on tempe.gov/clerk as well. With that, after this meeting concludes, we will hold the Rio Salado Community Facilities District Board meeting, followed by a special budget meeting. At the budget meeting, Ken Jones, Deputy City Manager and Chief Financial Officer, will provide an update on the proposed budget cuts due to the severe economic impact of COVID-19. Please know that Police and Human Services spending changes would require thoughtful and intensive analysis over the many months. The council will not be making those decisions at this budget meeting, but has heard the voices of those in the community members who want to see changes made soon. With that, we will start with a moment of silence. All right, thank you. And I will now ask Councilmember Arredondo Savage if you could lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes, Mayor, happy to. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the
republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all.
Liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. With that, I will turn over to the approval of the council meeting minutes. Councilman Navarro.
Thank you, Mayor. There is no approval for city council meeting minutes at this time.
All right. How about, can I turn over to Councilman Navarro for the acceptance of board, commission, and commission meeting minutes?
Thank you, Mayor. Accepting the board and commission meeting minutes, B 1 through 9.
It's been moved by Councilman Navarro. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Or Councilmember Chen, excuse me. Councilmember Chen. All those in favor? I'm going to do a roll call vote. Councilman Navarro.
Aye.
Councilmember Keating.
Yes.
Councilmember Chen.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Cubey.
Aye.
Councilmember Arredondo Savage.
Aye.
Councilmember Adams. Councilmember Adams.
Aye.
That motion passes 7-0. And with that, we're going to return to reports and announcements, and I have a couple I would like to read. The United Arizona Employees Association, otherwise known as UAEA Scholarship, is an annual program for the UAEA members who are employees of the City of Tempe. The program is open to members, students that are graduating high school, or if they're in college. The students applied for a transcript summary of their academic achievements, school honors, extracurricular activities, volunteer work, and wrote an essay about a social issue important to them. The applications were blindly evaluated for overall achievements by a 5-person committee without reference to the student or parent. And we are pleased to share the results of the 2020 UAEA Annual Scholarship Program. So the first one is Jalen Moore Duggan. Then we also have, excuse me here, we also have Ulissa Mia Pedroza Fernandez, and we also have Trinity Christensen. And Jalen is the daughter of UAEA member and city employee Yolanda Moore. And Jalen has been accepted to Arizona State University and plans to major in biological sciences. And Jalen graduated with an overall high school GPA of 3.2 and believes that climate change is one of the most important issues for her generation to address. And Jalen's volunteer experiences include summer camp, junior counselor, and as an assistant to the kindergarten teacher with class materials. We wish Jalen well as she begins her college study, and UAEA members grant Jalen a $250 scholarship. Congratulations, Jalen. Next is Yulissa, is the daughter of UAEA member and city employee Jamie Fernandez. Yulissa plans to attend the Chandler Gilbert Community College with a major in psychology. And Yulissa graduated with a GPA of 3.0. She comments in her essay that 25% of foster children experience incredibly high levels of PTSD, so high that they often compared to the rate of U.S. war veterans. Yulissa hopes to have a positive impact on the foster care system in the future. Yulissa received an academic honors in American and Arizona history, United States and Arizona government, with dual enrollment and credits for psychology and many other academic achievements. Yulissa volunteered work includes the National Arts and Honor Society, Music for the Cure, and Political Awareness Club. And we wish Yulissa well and UAEA grants for a $500 scholarship. So congratulations, Yulissa. Next is we have Trinity, is the daughter of UAE member and city employee Natalia Enos. Trinity was currently enrolled at Rio Salado Community College and graduated from Mountain Point High School and plans to transfer to Prairie View A&M University in the fall of 2021. Trinity graduated high school with a GPA of 3.5 and is working towards a Bachelor's of Science in Environmental Science and Sustainability. Trinity is passionate about the environment and sustainable practices, stating that our life support depends on the well-being of our environment. And Trinity hopes to one day work with the Arizona Department of Environmental Equality and to have an impact on the challenges of recycling. And Trinity currently has a 4.0 GPA at Rio Salado College. She has volunteered as a teacher's assistant at Sunrise Faith Community Center and March of Dimes Walk and participated in cleanup efforts at her school and the city of Phoenix. She was a varsity cheer member since 2017, earned varsity letters her sophomore and junior year, has been a Black Student Union member since 2018, and received the Sports Medicine Academic Achievement Award. And Trinity has been awarded a scholarship of $750, and we wish her well as well. Next announcement I have is per the Tempe City Charter, the council will be voting to approve the appointments of the Joint Review Commission, and this appointment is listed under item 5A1. And with that, I will now, I have a hand up with Councilmember Chin. Okay, with that, I will now turn it over to City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. For our announcements tonight, initially we have a presentation from staff regarding Orbit Earth. Sam Stevenson will be presenting.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Sam Stevenson, Senior Transportation Planner, and I'm here tonight to provide an update on our recent efforts to modify the Orbit Earth route. Next slide. And these are the performance measures that align with the proposal. Next slide. And here's a snapshot of the material I'll be covering. I want to provide an overview of the route, how it's been performing, some changes we're proposing, and also what we've heard from the community regarding the proposal, which I want to make sure I mention. The proposal started out as an idea from the community with requests from businesses to improve the level of transit service in the area just north of the lake. Slide. With that, I'll jump right in. So the Orbit Earth was launched in 2007. It's currently one of 6 routes that make up our Orbit network. This is the only Orbit route that runs into North Tempe, north of the lake. All the operating parameters, the span and the frequency of service, they're listed here. These will remain unchanged. And all that we're changing is the route itself. We're modifying how the route travels into and out of the downtown area. Our budget is a little over $2 million a year to operate the service, and this funding comes from Tempe's dedicated transit sales tax. The tax is really our primary funding source for the operation of our transit network, so we'd be unable to provide this level of service without that funding. Last year, we recorded just under 370,000 passenger boardings. Slide. And generally, for the past several years, we consider the ridership for this route to be pretty flat. For the past few years, we've recognized that transit ridership has declined. This is generally a nationwide trend, and there are many factors that play into this: the state of the economy, gas prices, among other things. Orbit Earth did experience a slight decrease in ridership between 2016 and 2018, but we're excited to report an increase between 2018 and 2019. And of course, I do want to mention that the ridership has declined significantly over the past several months. In response to the stay-at-home order, our transit system has continued to operate as an essential service throughout the stay-at-home order, but there have been some operational impacts. We've enhanced cleaning protocols, encouraged social distancing, and most Orbit routes have experienced a temporary reduction in frequency, which we expect to last through the end of next month. So of course, this is a space that we're monitoring very closely. And nonetheless, as we look ahead, we believe the benefits of this proposed change will extend well into the future. Slide. So as I mentioned before, the Earth is the single orbit route that serves North Tempe and connects to activity centers like the downtown area. The map on the left shows the route in its current configuration, and the map on the right highlights what we're proposing to change. Essentially, we are removing the service from the Mill Avenue Bridge and Curry Road, where we don't currently have many stops. In fact, we only have one stop in each direction, and it's right at the intersection of Mill and Curry. This location is also served by the light rail station nearby, which is also shown on the map. Instead, we're reallocating the Orbit service to Rio Salado Parkway and Scottsdale Road, where we foresee a benefit to connecting to the recent growth in those areas. Essentially, the route will continue to serve downtown Tempe and the transportation center, and the routing through the neighborhoods in North Tempe will remain unchanged. The hours and frequency of the service will also remain unchanged. Slide, please. Here's a quick summary of our outreach efforts. I want to take a second to thank our Neighborhood Services Division, who have provided a tremendous amount of support throughout this process. We initially had plans to host several in-person community meetings, but those plans were adjusted due to the COVID situation. Instead, we presented the information in an online format at what I believe was the city's first virtual public meeting. We also teamed up with Valley Metro to present the information in their regional service change webinar. Despite the fairly quick change in plans, we are really pleased with the amount of feedback that came in. Additionally, we took the opportunity to present the proposal to our Travel Experience Committee, which is in partnership with the Economic Development Department, earlier this month. This allowed us to get in front of some of the large employers in downtown Tempe. Slide. And here is a summary of the results. This is really a combined view which considers all of the feedback we received between our own local survey and Valley Metro's survey. The majority of respondents expressed that they are in favor of the change. While compiling the comments, we identified two distinct themes. We noted that people are generally in support of connecting to the additional destinations and activity centers, and we also recognize concerns about the additional travel time along the proposed route section, which we expect may be true depending on the time of day. We'll be monitoring this very closely and adjusting bus schedules as necessary. We do believe that improved transit connections to this area is really one of several tools that we have to help mitigate congestion in the long run. Slide. So based on what we've heard from the community, we do expect to move forward with the change for October. The next steps would be for us to ensure we notify the community and work with our transit facilities group to install new bus stops where needed. The official implementation date will be October 26th of this year. And after that time, we'll monitor the performance really closely, reviewing ridership trends, any additional feedback that may come in, and of course, on-time performance to ensure the service is operating reliably. Slide. And so with that, I'd be happy to take any questions.
Okay, Andrew.
Thank you, Mayor. Without any questions for Sam, thank you for that presentation.
Thank you.
The next brief update I was going to offer was regarding the city's COVID-19 response. As we have mentioned in previous meetings and in our outreach efforts, we have had a limited reopening of our multi-generational centers and our library for drop-off and pickups only. We, over the last weekend, expanded to include limited reopening of the Kiwanis Recreation Center, as well as the public pools. And by limited, I mean limited in terms of the total numbers and with all the types of safety protocols, including distancing, wearing of masks where appropriate, increased hand washing and sanitizing stations, et cetera. So at this point, and given some of the concerns that we're all watching with regards to the numbers in Arizona, and especially in light of the I'm sorry, it's especially in light of the governor's press conference today, where he's urging people to stay at home if they can, but fell short of actually issuing a new executive order regarding or mandating a stay at home. We are going to be proceeding cautiously and are going to be pausing any additional reopenings or expansions at this point. So happy to answer any questions about that.
Thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
questions for Andrew? Seeing none.
Next, Mayor, I just want to, a couple of other things. First of all, one of our longtime directors here at the City of Tempe administration, Rini Broderick, Director of Internal Services. This is going to be her last council meeting as a director. I'm sure as someone who's interested in Tempe, she will continue to keenly follow the goings on here at the city, but she will be doing so no longer as a city employee. Rini has worked for the city for a little over 12 years. We have enjoyed having her as part of our organization. She started in human resources and then several years ago was promoted to internal services director, where she has served in that capacity with a tremendous amount of excellence and honor and integrity. And Rini is just a special part, I think, of everything that we do here. She embodies our city's values. She has always worked tirelessly and without fail. She represents the city well in all of the various areas that we ask her to do in internal services, which includes human resources, and includes information technology. It includes our our financial division, including risk services, as well as facilities. And she has performed just excellently in all those areas. So we're certainly going to miss Rini and her contributions, but we wish her nothing but the best in her retirement and all of her future endeavors. So I just want to say thank you to Rini Broderick.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Councilmember Adams.
Yes, I just want to thank Rini for all of her years of service. I had the pleasure of working with Rini for many years, and she is a class act, and what she has negotiated in her career is quite impressive, and I'm very proud of Rini, and I'm proud to say she's a friend. Thank you, Rini, for your help and your service to the city of Tempe and making the city a better place.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Councilmember Keating.
Yeah, I didn't get the opportunity to work with Rainey too much, but I know that those that have nothing but very positive things to say about her. And anyone that dedicates so much time and service to the city of Tempe is always going to be a friend of mine. So I'm going to miss Rainey, and I know a lot of staff members and my colleagues will as well. And I definitely wish her the best on what comes next. And again, Rainey, thank you so much for everything. You will be missed.
Great. We have Councilmember Arredondo Savage, then Councilman Navarro.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Really quick, just a shout out to Rainey. I'm sure, Rainey, you are listening to this council meeting because it's your last one. But I just want to say what an honor it's been to work with you. And I think how engaging you've been, not only with the Tempe community, but, with our Tempe staff, and really ensuring that everybody is taken care of. And we're doing everything to the best of our ability for the individuals that serve this city. You have definitely been a class act, like Jennifer mentioned, and it's really been a pleasure to work with you and see, you know, the evolution of things that we've been able to do under your leadership. So many things wouldn't have happened without you. So I know we're going to hear from you as a resident of the city of Tempe, and I look forward to that too. So I wish you the very best in your next chapter. It has certainly been an honor working with you. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Navarro.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, just Rainey, it's been great. I know that we practically came on about the same time, a little bit before me, but you know, my experience with you helping out others and also being part of our diversity within the city and really just being engaged with making things a lot better. I know within our council meetings, you provided us many informations on a lot of things with our HR departments and how we're going and how we're proceeding to handle certain issues. And I want to say thank you for your hard work. Enjoy retirement if that's what you're going to be doing. But I wish this was better than virtual goodbye, but you'll definitely be missed. So thank you for your time and service.
Councilmember, Vice Mayor Cubey, Councilmember Chin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Rini, I just want to thank you for all your work on behalf of our workers and our staff. I think of equal pay, the equal pay work that Robin Arredondo Savage and I worked on, the earned sick days movement, family leave for our employees. You've really led the city and other cities in your approach to a more humane and equitable workforce. Thank you so much for all of your work and dedication.
Councilmember Chin.
Thank you, Mayor. Rini, if you're going, I'm going. Thank you for your many, many years of service and support for our community. You've contributed to helping to create a great city and a great place to live and work. And I wish you the best of luck. Thank you.
And Rini, you know, this is Mark, and I got to tell you, it's been truly an honor to have worked with you. And I remember when you were hired, I was on the council, and what a great breath of fresh air that you brought. And I remember I asked for a meeting with you, and you were like, well, why am I meeting with a council member? And I'm like, I wanted just to get to know who you are and your background and where you came from. And it has been such a treasure to have worked with you. And I do wish you all the best in your retirement and your future endeavors. So thank you so much for your service. And we truly are a better city for your service. And I don't know, Andrew.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes.
He's here.
Yes, I do have a couple other things I do want to talk about this evening. Thank you. In addition to this being Rini's last meeting as a city employee, we're also recognizing and honoring 2 members of council for their also having their last meeting. I'll go ahead first and just provide you some comments about Councilmember Arlene Chin. Arlene, this will be her last meeting as a council member, came on last year at a time of great turmoil on council, transition, and I can tell you from my experience and from the testimony of many city employees who have had the pleasure of working with Arlene over the last year plus, how much she will be missed. In addition to being a trailblazer in the eyes of many, as being the first Asian American member of council, she also, I think, set what I think most of staff would agree as a real standard of civility and just overall a very good-natured and approachable style to her being on council, one that will be appreciated and certainly missed. We salute you for stepping up at that time and wanting to be on council. We enjoyed working with you. We know that you care very much about this city, and I certainly, on behalf of the staff and the organization of City of Tempe, salute your service over the last year plus and wish you nothing but the best in all your future endeavors as well.
Thank you, Andrew Ching. As this is my last meeting of this term, I wanted to thank some people who have supported me during my term of service. First, I want to thank the city staff. There are numerous people, too many to list individually, but the city staff is tremendous. They've helped me get quickly up to speed when I came on, and they have indulged me by answering all of my questions. They've provided great information in their expertise. They are a tremendous group of professionals who care very much for their work, and they work every day to make the city a great place. Next, I want to thank our residents, our neighbors, and our business community partners for asking me questions. Their active participation in our community and their willingness to make contributions to our committee are a part of our overall strength. I also want to thank my council colleagues. Each and every one of the members of council cares about our community. We may differ in our communication style and approach, but I can assure you that they care and are willing to listen to feedback. I'd also like to thank my friends, family, and coworkers for their support as I served my community. It's been both educational and rewarding to serve. It's been my honor, and I look forward to applying my knowledge and experience again. We're currently working through some unprecedented challenges, and I know that if we continue to work together, we'll all make Tempe a better place for everyone. So I thank you, City Manager Ching, for your work as well. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember Keating.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to thank Arlene for her service. As Andrew pointed out, she stepped up at what was a very divisive and tumultuous time in our city, and I couldn't imagine anyone wanting to have that job at that time. And Arlene and I had known each other but we weren't ever really close. It kind of just like in passing. We'd have like short conversations at this event or that event, but we didn't really know each other on a personal level. And I'm very pleased to say that now we do, and I've been thoroughly impressed with Councilmember Chin in her short time with us. Only a year being on council, you wouldn't think that anyone, and not just her, but anyone would be able to have the understanding and the foresight to do the job at a level that she has demonstrated. I'm impressed with the deep questions she asks. I'm a little jealous. I'm like, I should have thought of that. That's just really smart. She's done a great job for the city, and I'm going to miss her leadership on this council. And again, I'd like to thank you, Arlene, for stepping up at a time when it was probably very scary to do so. And I think the city benefited from your courage. So thank you, Arlene. We will miss you, and please let's stay in touch. I look forward to watching you drink half a beer sometime.
Councilmember Robin Giordano Savage, and then we're going to go to Vice Mayor Kuby, and then Councilman Navarro.
Awesome. Thank you, Mayor. Really quick too. Arlene, I love those photos that you put up earlier. They were really good. But I have to say, I thought I wasn't in them enough, so I kind of created our own little photo album. So hopefully somebody will put it up here for us shortly. But first, I just want to say how much I've really enjoyed working with you this past year. I mean, I can't even believe it's already been a year. It's gone by since you were appointed and that you've been sitting in that seat. And it really has been a year, like kind of one of those crazy years. We've got a little highs and lows, but you've been really phenomenal through the whole entire thing. And as a council member, as a person, you have just great qualities and a style of your own that has really brought a lot of dignity to this position. Like Councilmember Keating said, I mean, you have the traits needed to be effective and respectable council member. I asked some people about some different traits and some qualities that they shared about you, and this is what they came up with: approachable, charismatic, even-keeled, open-minded, diplomatic, patient, humble. I don't know. Maybe I agree with most of those, but I will tell you, I certainly do appreciate your ability to be super thoughtful, to listen, to deliberate before you've made any decisions. You've easily become engaged and knowledgeable about what's happening within the city, with our staff, with the community, and you have always shown a genuine care and compassion for everyone around you. I can't say how much I appreciate everything that you've been able to accomplish in this short year. And I want to thank you for your service on the council. And I think, you know, Randy already said it too, where I truly believe you made us a better unit, and we will certainly miss you. I hope you will seriously consider maybe running for council in 2022. I think you're a great council member, a human being, an awesome ASU fan, and a friend, and I hope a lifelong friend. And just know that you will always have my vote. So thank you, Chinner. It has truly been a pleasure. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. We're going to go to Vice Mayor TV, then Councilman Navarro, then Councilman Adams.
Arlene, I've known you many years through all the work you do at the ASU Foundation and throughout the community. You're well known in the community as somebody who brings people together. And in a very, you know, as Randy Keating mentioned, in a very tumultuous time, you stood up. And while it might take many of us years to get acquainted with our role as a council member, I think you were just within a month or two comfortable in the role and confident in what you were looking at and reading, and able to really digest situations and scenarios in a way that was just remarkable. So thank you so much for your public service, for stepping up when your city needed you. And we bid you a fond adieu, and thanks again for all of your service.
Councilman Navarro, then Councilmember Adams.
Thank you, Mayor. Arlene, I just want to tell you thank you for being in the position to be sitting as a council member. I think the world of you. I've known you ever since I've gotten on council, and I appreciate our friendship. I really appreciate your insight. I really appreciate your knowledge of our city, the knowledge of the issues that are being approached. Not only have you shown that during our council meetings and being part of that team, but you have been a person I've often have come for advice and try to get a perspective on certain issues. And that just means the world to me. And I think that people really in a lot of positions have utilized you as a reference to get another perspective on things, to get you thinking. And you always provided that. And I so appreciate that, how thoughtful you have been, and just your involvement within the city in various different areas, your knowledge of where we're at, and always keeping you know, your thumb on, or the pulse on things that are happening within the city before you got on council for many of years. And I can just only say that it served you well. You stepped on council and did not miss a beat. And you have, just like others have said, brought an insight and a perspectiveness, thoughtfulness to how you speak. You listen to the issues, and you bring in your comments that are just spot on. So I just want to say I appreciate you. I hope you consider running again for real. And I will definitely be a supporter. So I'm a big fan of yours. Thank you, Arlene.
Thank you, Councilman Navarro. Councilmember Adams. Councilmember Adams?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I am having technical difficulties, but I think I have it now. So, Arlene, my colleagues have already basically covered what I was going to say tonight, and so I concur with their statements. I won't take up a lot of our time, but I want to thank you for agreeing to serve our community. And you know, when you were appointed, you stepped up to the plate and did a good job. And I wish you all the best in all your endeavors to come. And take care, and don't be shy about reaching out to us.
Thank you, Councilmember Adams. Arlene, where do I begin? Obviously, I've known you for many, many years. I'm not going to divulge that because it'll say how I am as well as you, but it truly has been an honor to call you a friend, but more importantly, to be able to serve with you on the city council. And as was stated, you hit the ground running. And a lot of people embrace your opinion, your views, and look to you for advice. And I can't thank you enough for being there for me and being there for the council members in the city of Tempe, but more importantly, really being there for the residents of the city of Tempe. You did come in at a time that was very tumultuous, and then it was a little bit hectic, and you brought a sense of calm, as Councilman Arredondo Savage mentioned. And I do want to thank you for your thoughtfulness, how smart you are. We're going to miss you, and I do wish you all the luck in the world. And go Devils, Arlene. Thank you. Andrew.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In concluding my comments during this portion of the meeting tonight, I wanted to talk a little bit and also give others the opportunity to talk about you. When we think about the significant impact and influences that Councilmember Chin has had in her short time on council, if you and your colleagues and those listening in tonight in our community think about that, and you multiply it times 20, which would be the years of service that you have dedicated to the city of Tempe in your roles, both as a member of council and then for the last 8 years as the mayor of the city of Tempe, I think you begin to get a picture of the sort of legacy that you leave in your years of service in those elected capacities. You are certainly, I think, going to be identified and have been identified as someone whose love, concern, and an overall appreciation of everything that it means to be part of and knowing the city of Tempe as well as you do has been so closely identified with who you are, both in office and well before you were in office, as someone who's a native to this great city. And, you know, when I think about your career here over the last 20 years, Mark, I think about how difficult it is, speaking from some experience, of choosing to enter into a field or a profession where you have a father who, in his own right, casts such a large and influential, benefits over the entire community during his service as both a council member and mayor of the city of Tempe. So that's always a bit of an intimidating thing, you know, and when I chose to enter into the legal profession, my father had been an attorney, his father before him. So I understand a little bit about the idea of following in a family footstep or a tradition. The difficult thing in doing so is how do you establish your own identity? How do you become uniquely yourself in that position? And I can say without any hesitation that your legacy and your accomplishments and your time on the council over the last 20 years stand very much on its own merits, that you are very much your own person, your own city council member, your own mayor, and that your time on council will be remembered as a time of great positive growth as a city. If those of you who have been around here and remember what the city of Tempe was like in the year 2000 versus where it is as Mark departs council in 2020, there has been a tremendous amount of growth. There has been a tremendous amount of change, both for the good and not for the good. But throughout it all, your leadership and your willingness to continue to work on behalf of this community that you so obviously love and wear that love very openly on your sleeve at all times has been remarkable. And there is really no way that anything that I can say in this short period of time can truly do justice to all that you have meant for the city of Tempe in this capacity. So I am just very appreciative. And over this time, we have had the chance over that 20-year period to work together. We certainly I should say, have enjoyed those opportunities, and to listen to you and to bounce ideas off of you and to hear from you and just be able to interact in that capacity has been a real honor and a privilege for me. And I know that that's also true for the staff and the organization here at the city of Tempe. So on behalf of all of them who can't speak here tonight, but for the community that is the organization of the city of Tempe, just thank you so much for dedicating the last 20 years of your life to the service as both council member and also as mayor for the last 8 years. That's a significant accomplishment that you should feel very, very proud of as you enter your last days in that capacity And I know that you will continue to want to and will, in fact, contribute in many ways to this city that you love so much. That's all I have. I know that there are a number of our external partners that are on the line at this meeting who would like to say a few words about you, Mayor Mitchell. So I'll turn it over first to Scott Smith with Valley Metro.
Thank you, Andrew. And we have a little PowerPoint. I don't know if you can pull it up. There you go. Andrew did a wonderful job of capsulizing the what 20 years means. And I've had the privilege of knowing Mark Mitchell first as a citizen, then as an elected official, a fellow mayor, and now as a close partner with Valley Metro as the CEO. And I can tell you, Mayor Mitchell, you've done an amazing job, and this city has changed. And after 20 years, thank you doesn't seem to be quite enough. You've really also been in the middle of a great transformation in both public transportation and transit-oriented development. Next slide, please. As a partner with your region, with those cities around you in this region, so much has happened over the last 20 years that you've been in the middle of. From increased bus service, I mean, look at the orbit that we talked about today in Tempe alone, and light rail going through Tempe, the now 11, almost 12 years ago, and the changes that have come along the light rail corridor as billions of dollars of new investment have literally changed the landscape of our entire valley, but especially Tempe. You've been a partner with both us and with your regional partners to build a truly regional system. Next slide, please. To help commemorate that, we are very, very honored to, as Valley Metro, to let the whole world know what we think of Mark Mitchell as the mayor. And so yesterday morning, we had the privilege of presenting him with a wrap on an orbit bus that will stay for quite a while, that everyone will see your nice picture as it travels around the city of Tempe and recognizes your 20 years, other mementos. And we want to thank you for that. And also, next slide, please. We have just one more act of real gratitude. Next slide. Over the next weekend, the light rail bridge over the Tempe Town Lake will be lighted in Mitchell blue, officially designated during this time to recognize the Mitchell family and especially Mayor Mark Mitchell on 20 years. Mayor, it's been a great privilege of mine to work with you in all the different capacities. I think you can look back with some pride as to those changes that Andrew talked about and how Tempe is a much different place now, I believe for the better. And you played a big role in that. And we thank you at Valley Metro for all you have done to support our mission and the impact that has had on both the city of Tempe, but most importantly, the citizens of Tempe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Scott. I'm very humbled. I'm taking a step back. I have that you gave me the other day, this nice collage. So thank you so much for that. It's humbling to work with colleagues across the county and the state on causes that really affect the quality of life for residents. And I know Councilmember Donald Savage can attest to this, how important the work is that Valley Metro does. So Scott, thank you. I mean, I'm truly humbled, and it's an honor to have served with you as mayor when you were the mayor of Mesa, but more importantly, it was an honor when I served as the chair of Valley Metro Rail and Valley Metro when you came in at a very tumultuous time. And you've done a great job turning Valley Metro around. And I think you're seeing the fruits of your labor as well as your staff's labor providing really exceptional service to the Valley. So thank you, Scott. Really, really do appreciate it.
Thank you very much. But remember, this is your celebration, not mine. So we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Mayor. Next up, we have Eric Anderson with Maricopa County Association of Governments. Eric, are you there?
Mr.
There you go.
Anderson, please unmute your mic.
Sorry, I didn't know I had control on my mic. So technology in this day and age, you know. So Mayor Mitchell, really appreciate all the time that you've spent on MAG issues over the last year, in particular as you've chaired our regional council. You know, much like your father, who I've also had the pleasure to work with over the years, you know, your sole focus has been on serving the public in the best way you can, and making not only Tempe a better place to live, but also the entire valley in the state of Arizona. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Mark has been an advocate for those who are less fortunate. His work on behalf of older adults and persons with Alzheimer's is a passion. Go to the next slide. He was also fast to volunteer on outreach efforts like handing out Don't Trash Arizona litter bags at Whataburger. I think that's his favorite hat too, other than his ASU hat. So really appreciate your time that you devoted to those sorts of things. Really makes a difference as we put a face on Don't Trash Arizona. So thank you for that. Dealing with public policy, it's so important to have a steady hand on the wheel, especially in these very unique times. Mayor Mark never got rattled in chairing our virtual meetings with 25 elected officials, having to take a number of roll call votes at each meeting, and dealing with assorted technical issues as I had to deal with today. So I think one of our better attributes of Mayor Mitchell is being to the point. Let's get right to the point and get it done. Thank you, Mayor Mitchell, for your service to your community and to the region. And personally, I really appreciate all your efforts and your willingness to be a true regional partner for us all. Thank you.
Eric, I can't thank you enough for what you've done and the leadership that you bring. And it truly has been an honor to work with MAG, especially be the chair of an organization that I get to work with my colleagues throughout Maricopa County, again, for the betterment of the city of Tempe. And the MAG organization, the professional staff there is second to none. Other than the city of Tempe staff, I think MAG staff is really, really right up there. But I will tell you, you guys are professional. I have so much respect for what you do and what MAG does for our community. And I can't thank you enough. And it really is a great honor to chair MAG and to be around so many great individuals in our community. So thank you, Eric, for that.
Mr. Mayor, at this time, I'd like to ask Tom Belshie with the Arizona League of Cities and Towns. I believe he's also here on the line too.
Thank you, Andrew. This is one of the things that really get to enjoy as a director of an association is the opportunity to recognize the contribution of somebody who cares so much about what you do as an association. I have known Mayor Mitchell for nearly 15 years now, and he's one of the exemplary elected officials that I've known for a variety of reasons. One of the great things about my job is knowing that elected officials in cities and towns really, when we do our trainings for newly elected officials, the vast majority of the people who come to those trainings say that they want to give something back to their community, and that's why they run. The thing that sets Mayor Mitchell apart is not only does he participate and fill his role, he's the first one, if he has a suggestion on how things can be improved, he is willing to say, I'll do this, I'll do that. Let's get these people to the table. Let's talk about this kind of thing. Let's start this new program, and here's how I can help. And that has just always been a real example to me of someone who obviously loves his city deeply, but who also realizes the importance of regional and statewide efforts. And he has served with us since 2006. And it's very, very difficult, especially in this day and age, to become president of the league. It takes a 6-year commitment as an officer to make it all the way through. And there's a couple of things, again, that I want to mention that were really important contributions that he made. Number one, we made a change a few years ago to change how we develop our policy as an organization, and we created policy committees. And the mayor has been very dedicated to those and to us developing good policy together as cities and towns, because he is a strong believer that when we're united behind a policy purpose, we're way more likely to be successful. And he was always a good example of that with his colleagues. And I also just want to mention that I became executive director in January of this year, and I just appreciated all of the advice over the years that I got from the mayor on a personal level, and all the times that when I was an employee and was able to talk to him, ask him questions, and for all the conversations that we had at executive committee meetings and at league conferences, and for the times that he took personally to talk to me. And I want him to know how much I appreciate that. I also want him to know that I hope that he knows that he has to come to next year's league conference so that we can give him proper recognition. This is the second time that I've recognized him virtually. It's just not the same. And so I hope that he is planning to be at our conference next year, where we'll have an opportunity to really celebrate his contributions to the league. Thank you, Mayor.
Well, Tom, thank you very much, and thank you for what you do. And it's been an honor. Like you said, I've known you for close to over 15 years. And, you know, I take solace. I mean, the league is something that I take great pride in, and working with my colleagues all through 91 cities and towns to make Arizona the best state possible. And that collaboration and working with my colleagues, something I take very, very serious and near and dear to my heart, because I know everyone that serves in the council or as a mayor has nothing but the most, they only want the best for their own cities and towns. I don't think anyone runs to see how bad they could mess something up or take a city a different direction. They just want to continue to improve it. And I want to thank you for your leadership. I was so happy when you were named the executive director. We had some challenging times at the league as well, and I think we're better for it. And the league is lucky to have you at the helm. And I look forward to continue to work with you in future endeavors. And so thank you so much, Tom. It really means a lot to me. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I know your council colleagues are going to want to say some words, but before that, there is a video that has been prepared that we wanted to show at this time.
That's not young at all. Wow.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, I know that your colleagues have some comments they want to make.
Okay.
Councilmember Arredondo Savage first.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. I didn't realize I was going to go first. So I'm happy to go first, Mayor, Mark. I got to tell you that there's so much I want to say about our time as colleagues on the council, but you know, for many people, they may not know, but many do know. More importantly to me is our time as lifelong friends. I mean, many people don't know that we actually grew up on the same block together. We went to the same elementary school. You strayed, went to a different middle school, but then we regrouped and both attended McClintock High School and then on to Arizona State University. And even though you give me a hard time about being older than you, I'll take that. And I just want you to know how incredibly honored it has been to not only work with you, but to be your friend for so many years. I would never be able to fully even capture the impact that your service has had on this community and its residents. It's truly been amazing. I mean, you have always been a champion for Tempe. And even though the video did highlight some things, there's just some things that I kind of went over to. And one of the things that's kind of most important, and I think my colleagues will agree with me, is how much you really emphasize and continue to remind us the importance of having a rainy day fund. You consistently showed your support for growth and always wanting a high level of quality of life for everyone, but at the same time being very fiscally responsible. And under your leadership as mayor, we have really seen our rainy day fund grow, and your financial responsibility has allowed our rainy day fund to increase over the years. And because of that, it's actually put us in a position, I think, that, you know, maybe be envied amongst other cities. And the primary reason that our upcoming budget discussions won't be quite as painful as they could be, but as that is, I know one thing, and others will agree with me, how you have always continued to remind us the importance of being fiscally responsible and planning for something that may unforeseen come our way, which it has. And I want to thank you for that. That to me has been a mark of an excellent leader. And one of the other things that I think about when I always talk about you is your passion for economic development. I mean, no one has been a bigger supporter and cheerleader for our city than you. Working with MAG and GPEC and the Arizona League. And I think that shows tonight with those individuals coming and honoring you for your many years of service. I mean, economic development has always been a major priority for you, and it certainly shows. During your tenure as mayor, I just think people have got to know this. Our city has worked with 132 companies to locate or expand in Tempe. During your watch, we've created 40,000 new jobs. And the capital investment in our city has been worth more than $500,000. And because of you, we are finally will see the hotel conference center in our future. And those things wouldn't have been accomplished without your leadership. In your time as mayor, we've not only seen the residential population grow by like about 20%, but the city is also now the second largest importer of jobs in the entire state. We are a destination to live, work, learn, and play, and that is definitely a thanks to your leadership. You know, one thing that I always have admired about you is how you care about people and relationships, and you have established tremendous relationships with everyone that you've come in contact with. I mean, during your 20-year tenure, you have been a champion towards building strong relationships with ASU, Valley Metro, DTA, the Tempe Tourism Office. You're an excellent advocate and proponent of our relationships with the LA Angels at Diablo Stadium. And I have to say, and I personally have witnessed this, you are the best first pitch man the city has ever had. So keep that up. Maybe you'll be able to get into their rotation. And another thing I think too has been community. You've always cared about community, and it shows. Whether it's dementia friendly, the state of our neighborhoods, your passion for human services and taking care of everyone and affordable housing. I mean, it truly shows that you have a great love for this community. I would say that your parents, Harry and Marianne, knew you would go on to accomplish amazing things when you were born. Something that you may not know but they gave you a name worth an envy of any other superhero. Now, you have to know this, Mark, too. When I start talking about superheroes, you can probably guess who was my partner in crime in this endeavor. And so I just have to give a quick shout out to Tim and Nikki's team to kind of helping us create this as we move forward. But it's always been easy to find out who those superheroes are because their names are often alliterative, like Miles Morales, Peter Parker, Wade Wilson, Clark Kent, Bruce Banner, Stephen Strange, Scott Summer. You heard of some of those? Well, the list goes on, and now it includes you, Mark Mitchell. I think your parents definitely knew what they were doing, and they knew that you would live up to the hype, and you have. So for now and for always, I want to recognize your service by unveiling your superhero name to the rest of the community. Mark, who I like to call Marky Mark, Mark Mitchell, I hereby dub you the one and only Tempe Titan. Now, as you can see, that is your new superhero logo, and I hope that we will print that, you will frame it, you will keep it at your home, so everybody can see what amazing individual you are. For those that you might not know, a Titan is someone who is powerful, influential, and extremely important in their field, and it fits you perfectly. I know I didn't want to spoil your secret identity, but you've been an amazing council member, a mayor, and an exceptional friend. I mean, you have always, I get a little choked up here, but you have always shown your love for our community, and you wear it on your sleeve proudly. And everyone knows it, and your passion is really contagious. I'm so grateful to have served with you over these years and very proud of the so many accomplishments. I mean, Tempe is better because of you, Mark. You are truly a champion, and you are the best Tempe Titan I know. It's been a privilege. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Cubey, I think I'm next.
Yes, go ahead. Thank you.
Robin pretty much said it all, but and Mark, I could regale you with tales from the trenches, the campaigns that we worked on together, especially your first mayoral campaign that was so intense and fun and joyful. But I want to talk about something a little more personal, and you and I share a bond that I'm not sure I share with any other council member, and that is we both have dear mothers who left this world, who descended into the depths of dementia, and basically we have suffered from this scourge of Alzheimer's. And I remember when I first told you that my mother was suffering and I was going back home to visit her, and I was wondering could I remember the last time she actually spoke and we had a coherent kind of conversation. I remember we in the elevator at City Hall, and tears came into your eyes, and you hugged me, and I knew you understood. And when my mom passed away in March, and I called you, you were so warm and supportive, and I will never forget that. I also see that you took that passion, that love for your mother, and you came up with dementia-friendly city, and you made Tempe the only city in Arizona, the first city in Arizona to become a dementia-friendly city. And there have been so many people that have benefited from that, from the Caregivers Cafe, from all the resources and opportunities. And I went to a number of those events. I didn't really tell people what my mother was suffering from, but I saw that the crowds of people that were there and how appreciative they were. That will be one of your legacies, dementia-friendly Tempe. And I know there's so many people that will benefit from it, and it's only by coming together as a community that we can heal from the pain that sometimes life brings us. So thank you so much for your leadership, and especially for your friendship. And we have that bond together. And I just want to thank you for all that you've done.
Vice Mayor, next we have Councilmember Adams.
Yes, thank you. First of all, I'm so honored to have been able to serve with you, Mark. I really appreciate you introducing me to so many leaders, both locally and across the country. And you've been a great mentor to me. And I just I wish you all the best in your future endeavors, and know that you will not be far from us, and that we can reach out to you at any time and get advice and get your support, and just stay in touch. And thank you for all your years of service. I've known you for 20 years, and it's been a great 20 years, and it's been, like I said, an honor to serve with you. Thank you so much. Best of wishes.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilmember Navarro.
Thank you, Andrew. Mark, watching that video, how can you not sit back and just recognize all the accomplishments, all the things you were part of through your 20 years? It's impressive, to say the least. I mean, you have really been a part of developing this city, from your father to Neil to all the mayors, Hugh Hallman, that have participated in this, and then you here at the end. It's been really something. I've been very impressed on the directions the city has gone, and you have been such an influential part of it. And then your participation in so many other areas, not only just in Tempe, but even around the nation with NLC, being part of their board. And then all the recognition you had tonight. I mean, I can't only imagine. You got to feel good about your accomplishments. Got to feel good about what you're leaving here in Tempe and the impression you left. I mean, it's impressive, to say the least. And I think that you and your history, but your passion is really prevalent. I mean, how you speak about Tempe, how you speak about the city, how you speak about how we're doing. Your passion by far is there. It's on your sleeve, and I really have enjoyed that part about you. The fact that you have really cared about this city and really care about the people that are in the city, and you really have strived to make this city the best place to live, work, and play. And you can assure that that tradition is going to keep on going, and that tradition is going to keep on developing. You put us on the map. This place is a destinational place with all the activities that we have, from marathons to triathlons to concerts to football games. There is a mass amount of memory in there, and of things that we do as a city, and you're part of that. And the history that is being developed from your leadership, from your guidance, is truly impressive. And you got to be just thrilled of what's happening. So you leave, but you leave with a real good track of things that you accomplish, from light rail to streetcar to, I mean, the list goes on, and we're still going on. So I just want to say thank you for your involvement within this city, your involvement of pressing on, your involvement of guiding this city to the direction that we are at today. And if anything, Mark, I know you'd be out there giving tours and talking about the history of every little detail in the city, because you're the man that comes down to detail and history and names and people and places and events. I'm very impressed with. So keep that tradition on. I hope you get a bus and you continue your tour. But I know you are off to bigger and better things possibly. And I'm proud of you, and thank you for your service.
Thank you. Councilmember Chin.
Thank you, Andrew. Mayor Mitchell, while I don't go as far back as Councilmember Robin Arredondo Savage does with you, back to the territorial days of Arizona in Tempe, I have known you for several decades. Tempe has always been your focal point, and a lot of people don't know the work that you've done representing Tempe nationally, on the national level with many different organizations in carrying the Tempe flag in representing us. I share your love of Tempe, and I've always long admired your ability to share the history of any given neighborhood or street in Tempe. You can tell us who has lived in each house in any neighborhood and street. You know all the names of the family members and who lived there after they moved away to a different neighborhood. You've always remembered people, and you've remembered names, and you have always understood the importance of human relationships and why they're so important to building a community like Tempe, and why that makes Tempe unique and special. Mayor Mitchell, thank you for your service.
Thank you. Councilmember Keating.
Thank you very much. Mayor Mitchell, I mean, there's so much I want to say. A lot of it's already been said. First, I'll start off with just kind of your legacy as service to the city of Tempe. I mean, when I moved here in 2003, I always say the tallest building in the city was Manzanita. And I remember moving here, never have been to Arizona and didn't know what Tempe was. I just knew I was moving to Phoenix. Little did I know that Tempe is not Phoenix. And I believe that's a really good thing. I thought I was moving to a metropolitan area. I had spent 2 years living in a suburb of Chicago before coming here. So I was looking for that city life, and I came to Tempe and found something much different. And in that time, Tempe has radically changed for the better. We've added new world-class skyline, economic development, jobs, new housing. The Business Journal, not too long ago, I think it was only 6 months to a year ago, quipped, maybe we should call the region the Tempe metro region. And that doesn't happen by accident. That's a product of good leadership, a steady hand at the wheel, years of planning and execution, working towards a goal of betterment. Tempe would be impossible to imagine without your contribution to it. And, I, for one, will be sad to see you go. I certainly hope that I see your name on the ballot again in the future, from whatever race that may be. I hope you know that you will have my support. But whatever you do next, I will be happy to support you however I can. I'd also like to speak a little bit briefly about just what you meant to me in my time on council. When I took office, I made no secret. Hold on, really quickly. So this is a picture. This is the first time we met, Mayor. That was you announcing your 2012 run for mayor, and that was the chair of the 26 Democrats at the time. I still have that shirt, so it's time to upgrade my wardrobe. And then, of course, on the right is during my first campaign, you'd come by my house for all my canvases and knock doors for me and collect signatures, and ended up endorsing me, which I was very happy about. True story. The mayor broke my screen door like the first week I lived in this house, and that screen door to this day still isn't fixed because I think it'd be wrong to do so because it's a good conversation piece. The rest of the pictures are just random ones that you've had together that I thought would be nice to be included. But anyway, during the campaign, we just finished a campaign together, and I often talked about how difficult it was for me in the first couple of years. I legitimately felt under siege at all times from friends and foes alike. And I had a very difficult time transitioning to, community activist to public figure and leader. And it was, I don't think I ever told you this, but you were the one person I felt I could go to for unbiased advice, and not trying to push me to this or that, or not trying to ultimately get something out of me. I could come to you when I was really struggling, and I did struggle. I mean, sure you remember, I would sweat votes, I would sweat nasty emails I would get from members of the community. I would sweat the insider baseball things of who said what, and and without your steady guidance, I don't think I would have grown into not only the council member I am now, but grown to really love the job. And I certainly wouldn't be up next in line to be vice mayor because I either A, would have resigned, B, would have lost my election, or C, would have alienated everybody around me to the point where they would never let me be vice mayor. So, I couldn't have done any of that without you. And I'll certainly miss having that. It's sad for me to see you go. But I hope that you take great satisfaction and pride in your contribution to the Tempe, to what Tempe has become. And I also hope that you breathe easy knowing that pretty soon people will have somebody else to blame for all their problems. So, Mayor, you've been fantastic. I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate everything you've done for the city, this council, particularly me, especially in those first couple of years. I could go on and on, but I won't because I know we have a long meeting ahead of us. But I do want to echo one more thing that Robin and Joel mentioned. Man, you are an encyclopedia of Tempe. I mean, it is just ridiculous. What shop used to be what, and Joel said who lived where. I mean, it's just, you're like a Google for this city. So thank you for being such a good cheerleader. Thank you for being such a good mayor. Thank you for making sure that we're going to be much better situated to weather this recession than some of our neighboring cities. And as Joel said, you really put Tempe on the map. And the rest of us are going to benefit from that. And our citizens benefit from that every day. So Tempe's a world-class city. Again, that doesn't happen by accident. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone. I'm at a loss for words. I'm usually not, but I really am. But I want to say some things that it means a lot to me. This is hard, so. Well, as you guys know, I grew up in a home dedicated to public service. It has been my greatest fortune, one of my greatest fortunes, to serve this community first on council and then as mayor. And I can honestly say, serving as mayor of Tempe, which is my hometown, has been one of the greatest honors of my life. I say one because I have two little beautiful daughters. My goal as mayor was to make Tempe better than it was before I was elected mayor. And when I was a councilman, my goal was to make Tempe better than it was before I became a council member and when I left. And I can honestly say that I say we as this council and the city staff and the residents of Tempe, I can honestly say that we've done that. I'm so proud of what we have accomplished as a council with the help, again, of our amazing city staff. A lot of, when I go speak to certain groups and youth groups and adults, I would tell you they ask about being mayor, and I say, the council really is like the board of directors. And I'm the chairman of the board as mayor, and then we're a manager council form of government. And then what we do is the council sets the vision of the city, and then the staff helps implement the vision, the goals, the strategic priorities that we have to make the city a better place. And we have definitely done so, and we're going to continue to do so. And serving, and our staff, hands down, is the best. So thank you to all the city employees. And as you saw tonight, in serving as the president of the Arizona League of Cities and Towns and chair of MAG, and working with my fellow colleagues, who I call friends. I mean, I meet once a month with my fellow mayors in the East Valley, and we talk about our family, our lives as human beings, and it's great to get to know individuals on a personal level. And in talking with my colleagues and serving on all these regional boards and national boards, especially regionally here, we really are the envy of the Valley. People want to be like Tempe. I can't tell you how many times we get accolades for our great park system. I mean, it was even quoted in the paper one time where, and Gilbert has done some great things, but they said, oh, we're finally getting some parks like Tempe. I mean, that's a great accomplishment that we should all be proud of. And the video, God, thank you to Brianne and Elizabeth and Nikki and the staff for really, Jason and Greg, Wolf, for you guys putting a lot of that stuff together. That video really says it all. I mean, pictures say 1,000 words. And I have listed everything that was in that video of some of things that happened during my time as mayor. And one of the things that I want to point out, and Robin pointed it out, but you know, since I've been mayor, we've attracted over 40,000 jobs, over $3 billion plus in private capital investment. You know, we created developments on the Tempe Town Lake, the Tempe Marketplace Phase 2, which includes great companies like Benchmark Electronics, Freedom Financial, Eastmark, and the IDEA campus, home to Becton Dixon. You know, the reason why this is important, and someone said that I know about economic development, but I can't stress the importance. Without resources, we cannot do the things that matters to all of us as a council. We can't do the things that matter in our own backyard neighborhoods, provide human services, social services, the counseling programs that the city provides. We cannot do that without resources. And that's why I push so much. There's a reason why economic development is important, because at the end of the day, without economic development, we're not going to have those resources to do the very things that, guess what, we're going to be talking about in 2 meetings from now regarding our budget. And it's so important to have the resources, to have the staff that we have to implement the vision that this council has put forward and what future councils will put forward for the betterment of our community. There's so many lists of businesses that I could talk about that we've done, but I just wanted to mention just a couple things that really defines the quality of life. You know, it was mentioned, we passed the arts tax in Tempe. It does not sunset, it does not go away. Because we passed the arts tax, we're going to be able to do arts in a park and community programs and work with local artists. We're successfully, you know, we're building a transportation network. And by the way, with the stuff from Valley Metro, we are the envy in transportation. Tempe was the first city to move forward with transit. We were the only city back in 1988, here's my history gap, that we passed Valtrans, which is like the monorail you see at Disneyland. We are the only city that passed it. And we couldn't move forward because we just can't have a monorail system in the city of Tempe. But moving forward, we were at the forefront of light rail. And I was proud to be on the council when that happened. I'm even more proud that we have the streetcar under construction. And then even more importantly is that we're teaching future generations the importance of public transportation to reduce the carbon footprint. And by us offering free bus passes, no other city in the valley offers youth bus passes. And that's something that is very, very important. We expanded the orbit system to South Tempe during my time as mayor. And I remember on the council when we had the orbit vote, it was a 4-3 vote, believe it. And I was proud to be on the majority side of that vote. We did a test pilot, and now you could never take it away. But it's important because it helps move people within and around our community from one neighborhood to another neighborhood to certain destinations and focal points and community assets in our community. We see a lot about events. Tempe is known as the event hub, from hosting, you know, Fiesta Bowls, 3 national championship games, to a Super Bowl 30, to the Insight Bowls, the Cactus Bowls, to Rock and Roll Marathon, to Ironman, the Pat Tillman Run, you name it, Tempe is a place for it. And recently, the success of Innings Festival. And we can't mention the local festivals that we have, from Oktoberfest, 4th of July, which unfortunately we're not going to see this year. And Vice Mayor QB brought this up earlier, but dementia-friendly Tempe is something that's very passionate to me personally. But for all the things that we have done with human services, the caring aspect of the community. Tempe is a very caring community. From aging in place to those that are less fortunate, that are homeless, that we're trying to help, to looking, and it was on the video with affordable housing, we're investing more monies in that, to all their services. It really is remarkable. I mean, since 2009, especially since 2012, we created the Human Services Department. We put school counselors as a council in schools. We have a community counselor program for our community members at a discounted rate. I mean, we created Care 7, the Hope Team. We provided so many other amenities that we do so much for our community. We don't like to talk about it, but we need to talk about it because we do so much, and it's important that our residents and the community members know all that we have accomplished, all because we were able to be in a position to have the resources to do certain programs. I mean, we took landfills. The Art Center was a landfill. Now look at it. It's the beacon. Most of the property along the Rio Salado has been a landfill. And we were able to turn that into an icon for the entire valley. We got Eastmark on the North Shore. Just imagine what, and there was a picture of what the lake looked like when I first got on council. Imagine the transformation since 2012 to 2020. The state's largest building ever built at one time, over 2 million square feet, Marina Heights. You got Eastmark on the North Shore. You got Becton-Dixon, which eventually the IDEA campus will have over 1 million square feet. And it sounds great economically, but the positive aspect of that type of development is the resources that will give us the opportunity to continue to be that caring community, that compassionate community to invest in our city. And I got to tell you, I'm going to go, and I got something to say about each council member because you guys, it's like my family. The city staff is my family. The community is my family. I'm sorry. Robin, I don't know where to begin. Me riding or trying to catch up with you on a bike, or you trying to play football and baseball catch with us and with all my friends in our neighborhood block. It's been an honor to not only have known you and call you a personal good friend, someone I entrusted, someone I always went to and talked to, even some of my challenging times. I got to tell you, I thank you for being there. I look to you for your leadership, the views. I always wanted to know, you know, we didn't agree on everything, and I always asked why. Like, why would you look at it this way? So I had a better understanding. And I said, that's good. And it really made me think about certain things. And I always counted on you. The leadership that you had and the vision that you care so much about the youth in our community really transcends to a lot of us here in the community, every single person on council, but your leadership with initiatives for youth, career ready, the Veterans Commission, gosh, that's amazing what we've done with the Veterans Commission and opportunities that you've opened up. I mean, you're the second longest person I've served with on the council. And I thank you so much for your vision, your leadership, your dedication, and your passion for Tempe. You talked about my passion. I mean, you have so much passion. You grew up here with me, and we all went to school together. And it really is an honor to serve you and call you a very, very good friend. So thank you, Robin, for your leadership. And I know you're going to continue to do great things and help keep Tempe on track as we continue to move forward. Joel, I don't know what to say, man. I've served with you for over 12 years. I've known you for not quite as long as Robin, but pretty close. And it's been an honor serving with you. It's been an honor serving with you at the National League of Cities boards, on this council. The passion that you have for our streets, the streetscape and landscaping, the aesthetics of our city is second to none. I thank you for always pushing us, because it's important when you come into the city of Tempe. It's defined when you enter all the entry points when you come into the city of Tempe, and the leadership that you have with youth sports, as well as economic development and arterial streets, and serving with you for 12 years. We've seen a lot. And I know our city's better for your service, and I'm so happy that you were elected again to continue to serve and carry on the legacy. And I don't know what's going to happen this time, Joel, but maybe sometime, as much as I love the sports fields, if we can get that 8 pit park, something can be funded. But I will tell you, it's keep pushing, because I will tell you, just from that, great things take time. And everyone today, society today, they have everything at their fingertips and they want instant results. And it took 40 years plus to have the lake to be where it is today. And it took many, many hands to help build it and create it. And we're never going to be done. We're still building around the lake. So thank you, Joel. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for being a great friend and being there. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to you continue to do great things.
Thank you.
I got to tell you, Randy, we've had some great 4 years here. I look to you for ideas. I bounce ideas off of you. And what do you think? Your passion for economic development, your passion for human services, your passion for people and youth is exciting to see. You may not have grown up here like Joel or myself and Robin, but I will tell you, you've come to love Tempe, and that's something I really, really appreciate. I appreciate your leadership. I appreciate you serving on the Economic Development Committee at MAG. Enjoy that because you get to build those relationships and camaraderie with your fellow colleagues, and it will do you well and help you as you continue to look at economic development opportunities for the city. But more importantly, the things that you're passionate about, the innovation hubs that you chaired, that I was able to serve with you. And by the way, I want to know what happened to all the scooters. We spent a lot of time on those scooters, and we don't see too many of those scooters around anymore. And that was a lot of work between Joel and myself, and Randy, you led that. And so thank you for doing that. And thank you for your leadership. And I'm so excited that you're reelected. I'm excited for what is in stake for you the next 4 years. You have really grown, and you're going to continue to grow. And thank you for being open-minded about the direction of the city and where we're heading. So thank you. Arlene, my other little sister, other than Robin, I've known you it's over 3 decades, by the way. I've known you for many years, and I loved having at least 1 year to serve with you on the council. And I think we're better for your service and your wisdom. You're smart, you're thoughtful, you're very caring, and I love how you think. And if I can slow down and talk like you, I might be able to get more accomplished in how you do stuff, because I like to just talk real fast and I get excited. But Arlene, you mean the world to me as well. I got to tell you, I'm excited for your future. Thank you for being the great Sun Devil that you are. Thank you for your passion. I think we're the only 2 people on the council that were part of the MIAC, the Mayor's Youth Advisory Commission. And I know you're a part of the first All-America City Awards. And I'm not going to say the date because I might give you closer in age, but I just know that you and Robin and Joel are a lot older than me. But anyways, and I'm not going to say that Jennifer and Lauren, you guys are as well, so I got to put you in that category. Randy's the baby, but I will tell you, it's been an honor to serve with you, and I really look forward to your future. And thank you for being there, and thank you for being such a wonderful and caring friend. Councilmember Adams, man, I've known you for 20 years, and working with you when you worked at the city in Public Works and seeing you grow, and always talking to you, running into you, always hugging each other, your passion when you're an employee, and now that you're as a city council member, I love to see the passion that you have and how much you care about the residents, the neighborhoods, and how you continue to fight to make sure that we're providing great service to our city. And your experience working for the city has helped give you some insight and a different perspective, which we look at as a council. We thank you for that. And we thank you for the leadership you've given in our neighborhoods, that you continue to move forward in the next 2 years and beyond. So thank you so much for your friendship. And you should probably thank Cindy for sharing you, because I know it's a lot of work that goes on serving on the council. And I really do appreciate your friendship. Madam Vice Mayor, it is an honor to have served with you and you as my Vice Mayor. We have, as you said earlier, we've been through a lot. And I would tell you, I think I've never been more proud of working on certain projects with you and initiatives, whether it be equal pay ordinance. When my dad worked, when he was a member of Congress, he was one of the main co-sponsors of the Lilly Ledbetter Act, and she was able to come to Tempe and then you helped spearhead the equal pay ordinance for the city of Tempe, the anti-discrimination ordinance, which we all care very, very much about, your work for sustainability. I mean, I don't know how many trees you and I have planted together. I will tell you that it's been enlightening to help be a part of the, I have to give a second here. It's exciting for the work that you do and that you've led with the Climate Action Plan and working at the renewable energy goals. That's something that you keep pressing us on, and that's something we have to move forward when it comes to sustainability. I mean, we are the first city to have curbside recycling. That says something, way above anybody else. And I thank you for your leadership and your friendship and your years of service and beyond. So thank you so much. I've seen a lot in my 20 years. And I want to talk about Andrew. Andrew, I think the world of you. Obviously, as a city manager, as a mayor, we spent a lot of time together. And just so you know, I've been through 4 city managers in my time on the city council. And I'm very grateful that you are a city manager. I've seen a lot. I've seen what to do, what not to do. I know that you care about this community. Like Robin, you and I both grew up in Tempe with Joel. We went to the same high school. I went to high school with you and your wife. And I would tell you, Tempe is very fortunate to have you as our city manager, especially given the history that you have, your knowledge. I mean, when I first was on council, you were an assistant city attorney. Now you're our city manager. I've enjoyed working with you. I enjoy your thoughtfulness, your calm way of stature and how you handle the things, even given the unprecedented circumstances that we're in now. Thank you for that. To Judy Bauman, our attorney, Judy, thank you so much for the advice you give us as a council, your leadership. We've had some interesting and challenging times, and I can't thank you enough for your calm, even demeanor and your measured sense and how you give us advice in terms of legal. And I really appreciate your leadership, and we're very fortunate to have you as well. So Carla, you just went through an amazing an election, your first one, and I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad you had big shoes to fill, and you're blowing everybody away. I can't thank you enough for your leadership and what you've done in the clerk's office and what you're going to continue to do, especially with the new systems that we're looking and the technology that you're going to have to implement. Thank you so much. And thank you for your friendship. It's been an honor to work with you. Chief Reese, Tempe Fire Department, let me tell you, we are the best fire department in the Valley. We won national awards. We've been nationally accredited. Maybe I can one day make a smoke brisket as good as you, but I'll work on that. I thank you for your leadership. Thank you for leading the Tempe Fire and Medical Rescue Department and your years of service to the city and what you're doing for us. It's an honor to call you your friend, so thank you so much. And Chief Moyer, I can't thank you enough. Your leadership, your compassion, your caring compassion for our community. In light of everything that's been happening in these difficult times that we've had, unprecedented circumstances. Thank you for your leadership, your friendship, and I know we're going to continue. I released a statement today with Mayor-elect Woods about moving our community forward, and I think we have some great progress that we're going to make as a community. And thank you for serving as our police chief. I can go on and list a million of people. I'm just going to name names because if I miss someone, I'm sorry. But Nikki, I can't thank you for being there. We've got a lot of press conferences, a lot of press releases, a lot of videos. To Greg and to Jason, I don't know, these last 3 months, I've spent a lot of time with you all. And even though we've been quarantined with masks, I would tell you, it has been an honor to serve and work with all of you guys. And by the way, Jason and Greg, you guys don't see them. They're behind the scenes on all the events that we do, all the videos. So kudos to you all and thank you. And to Chris Baxter, gang, I gotta tell you, Chris, I remember when you first came to the city. It's been amazing. And thank you for your friendship. One thing I forgot, Nikki, when I first got on council, you were the Tribune reporter. I'll never forget this. And then when you came to the city, I'm like, oh, now you get to see how it really works. And then you have an aha moment thinking, wow, if I would have known then what I know now. But, you know, you came, you see that we all want to do great things for our cities. We're not all trying to do stuff that's bad. And I think you see that and you've enjoyed that. To Stephen Methvin, wow, you're my chief of staff when I first became mayor. I've known you for years through the league. So the league helped me get to know you. But thank you when you helped me as the chief of staff. I can't thank you enough. You're a friend, and thank you for your leadership and what you've done as an assistant city manager. I can't thank you enough, and I'm looking forward to great things with you. Jones, what can I say? You're a former elected official. You're a former vice mayor of Litchfield, and you've seen both sides, and I can't thank you enough. And Robin talked about being fiscally responsible earlier. Thank you for what you're doing. You're going to help us later tonight. And thank you for your friendship. Love the baseball talks. And I really thank you for your friendship, Ken. It means a lot to me. And the city is very, very lucky to have you as our assistant city manager and chief financial officer. We continue to do great things and continue to have a high bond rating. Neighborhood services, Shannon, ET, Laura, thank you. Transportation, Eric, Iris, and Amanda, staff, Sue Tafe, thank you so much for what you do. From Chad to Alex Smith, Alex, thank you for everything, the developments that we've done. And Laura Kybus, thank you so much for what you've done in neighborhoods. You've seen a lot through your years of service to our community. To Ryan Levesque, to Jeff Tamalevich, Code of Compliance, thank you. To Keith Burke, Sean Wagner, Craig Hayden. I mean, it's unbelievable how many great staff we have, and I can honestly call as friends. So thank you all very much. You know, and I know I've missed some people, Naomi, and I've missed, oh my gosh, I got Marge. Marge has been with me through thick and thin, traveled with me for leadership position meetings, briefed me all over. The first time she went with me to Washington, D.C., I'll never forget, we're standing on the railroad track in Baltimore, and it's a blizzard, and she hardly had any, her jacket was so thin. And I'm like, are you okay? And it was like literally a blizzard. And ever since then, she's learned how to pack. And we've had some great experiences. And Marge, thank you so much for your leadership on, you know, when I became president of the League of Cities and Towns, to the National League of Cities, to the U.S. Conference of Mayors and serving in leadership, and your insight on regional issues down to the Capitol. We've had a lot of good battles down there, Marge, and thank you for your personal friendship. It really means a lot to me. So thank you very much. And I know I've missed some people from Human Services, from Levon to Naomi, you name it. There's so many people. I feel like I'm missing someone, and I really do apologize. But serving the last 20 years has been very rewarding. And these last few months have been some of the most challenging of my career. I mean, I didn't exactly think I would be navigating my way through a global pandemic during my last few months of service as mayor. I want you all to know that I have always acted with what I believe is in the best of public's interest. Whether you agree with me or not, I've always done my best to follow my gut, ask for advice when needed, listen to public input, and live up to your expectations as mayor. I do want to thank my family, my two daughters, Allison and Sophia, my dad, and my mom for always being there. And thank you to the residents of Tempe for giving me the opportunity to serve as your mayor. It's been a great ride, and I look to do more things in the future, but thank you so much to the residents of Tempe and to everyone from the city staff for all you've done. I'm sorry I went on too long, but thank you. All right. With that, we are now, let me see what I have. I need to turn it back, Andrew?
Just very briefly, one of the drawbacks of having the virtual meetings is we typically present some tokens of appreciation, gifts to outgoing mayors. We have those. We got you the traditional Solari Bell, There's a book detailing your 20 years of service to the city. Oh, maybe some of those things really are there. Perhaps virtual isn't an obstacle. There's a painting that you will be receiving that was donated by resident artist and city employee Eric Iverson, and also a photo of the city council, suitably framed, I'm sure. So these items are magically appearing on the screen right now. So that's all I have for announcements. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, for everything.
Well, thank you very, very much. It is so humbling. And thank you again, Andrew, and thank you for your friendship. All right. With that, we're going to move on to the consent agenda. The items listed on the consent agenda will be considered as a group and will be enacted with one motion by the City Council unless an item is removed for separate consideration. Members of the public may remove a public hearing item and items for separate consideration. Public hearings are designated with an asterisk, and council members may remove any item for separate consideration or to declare a conflict of interest. If a council member would like to declare a conflict at this time, the city clerk will provide the council member with a disclosure form. With that, the public may submit written comments to the city via the speaker comment card on tempe.gov/clerk or via the Tempe council communicator at tempe.gov. With that, the consent agenda is as follows. Miscellaneous items 5A1 through 5A9, awards and bids of contracts, items 5B1 through 5B11, and resolutions, items 5C1 through 5C10. With that, any agenda item that is marked with an asterisk is a public hearing item and it can be removed by a member of the public for separate consideration. I ask if my council colleagues, is there anyone in the public that has an item to be removed? Madam Clerk?
That's negative.
Okay. With that, is there any of my council colleagues who'd like to have any items removed for separate consideration?
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
I'd like to remove 5A1 and 5A5.
Okay. Councilmember Hernando Savage.
Mayor, I was just going to move approval of consent agenda.
Oh, okay. Hang on one
Sorry.
second. Okay, so is there a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of 5A1 and 5A5? It's been moved by Councilmember Hernando Savage.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Navarro. We'll do a roll call vote. Councilman Navarro.
Aye.
Councilmember Keating. Councilmember Chin.
Aye.
Councilmember Keating. Vice Mayor Cubey.
Aye.
Thank you. Aye. Councilmember Hernando Savage.
Aye, Mayor.
Councilmember Adams. I vote aye as well. That passes 7-0. Now we'll move on to items number 5A1, which is the approve of reappointment of the board, reappointment of the City of Tempe Joint Review Committee. Vice Mayor Cubey.
Yes, I just want to bring it up quickly, and I'll support the nominees and our choices. This is the Joint Review Committee, JRC, and ASU has appointments, and Tempe has appointments, then ASU and Tempe have appointments together. And our choices are a bit prescribed by reappointments in this time. But I did notice and did talk to folks at ASU and hoping that we'll see some diversity in the future on the Joint Review Committee. There are no people of color and it's 83% men. So I had a very good conversation with ASU folks, and they do agree that in this time and day, we need to look more seriously at having a JRC that represents the community. So with that, I will make a motion to support the nominees.
It's been moved by Vice Mayor Cubey. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Hernando Savage. Roll call vote. Councilman Navarro.
Aye.
Councilmember Keating.
Yes.
Councilmember Chen.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Cubey.
Aye.
Councilmember Adams. Councilmember Adams. That motion passes 7-0. The next item is item 5A5, which is approve a subdivision plat for the Tempe streetcar, the TPSS number 4, located at 1389 East Apache Boulevard. The applicant is Stantec Consultant. Vice Mayor Cubey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I have no problem supporting this. I wanted to bring it up because we did get an email from a community leader, the Neighborhood Association Chair, Phil Amorosi, and he asked about, in 2007, there was a discussion about this plat that if it ever became developed, that there would be a request made to have a cut-through street from Cedar, so Cedar could connect with Dorsey. So he asked about that, and while we can't obviously rule on that or talk about that tonight, reaching out to staff, that is an option in the future, but to be clear, it's something the residents, the neighborhood all has to want, because it will bring more traffic into the community, as well as help the traffic come out of the community. So it is something that the neighborhoods, the residents could approach transportation and talk to them about. I just wanted to bring that up as a topic because it was raised in emails to the council. Thank you. And I make a motion to approve.
Oh,
I don't.
I need to unmute I forgot to unmute. It's been moved by Vice Mayor Cubey. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Navarro. Roll call vote. Councilman Navarro.
Aye.
Councilmember Keating.
Yes.
Councilmember Chin.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Cubey.
Aye.
Councilmember Iridana Savage.
Aye.
And Councilmember Adams.
Aye.
That motion, I vote aye as well. That motion passes 7-0. All right, moving on to our non-consent agenda. All the items listed on the non-consent agenda will be considered separately. Agenda items scheduled for introduction and first public hearing will be heard but will not be voted upon at this meeting. Agenda items scheduled for a second public hearing and final adoption will be voted upon tonight. Council members who may have a conflict of interest may abstain from voting on a matter, and the city clerk will provide a council member with a disclosure form at this time. The first item is under the section is item 6A1, is to approve the settlement agreement and any related documents among the city of Tempe and Lysandra Gonzalez and Juan Antonio Arce, the parents of statutory benefits of Antonio Arce and the estate of Antonio Arce, to settle the matter of Gonzalez versus the city of Tempe, case number 2.0-20-CV0092 MTL, into the U.S. District Court of the District of Arizona. Before we vote on this item, I would just like to share some thoughts on behalf of the council. The council has always maintained that the death of Antonio Arce is a tragedy, and we have had to respect the process and state law. But during the past year and a half, we have also expressed our condolences and apologies to the family. We did so again when the county attorney announced her decision not to charge former Officer Hine. And we know that the Arce family is left with the devastation of losing a son and a family member. We understand that the settlement from the city cannot compensate the loss of Antonio, but we are settling this with the Arce family because the city recognizes and acknowledges that Officer Hine was outside the police department's policy and procedure, and that his actions were wrong. We wish the Arce family peace as they continue to grieve and to heal. And with that, I'd like to look for a motion on item 6A1. My colleagues.
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Keating, Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Seconded by Councilmember Arredondo Savage. We're going to do a roll call vote. Councilmember Navarro.
Aye.
Councilmember Keating.
Yes.
Councilmember Chin.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Keating.
Aye.
Councilmember Arredondo Savage.
Aye, Mayor.
And Councilmember Adams.
Aye.
I vote aye as well. That motion passes 7-0. The next item on the section is item 6A2, the approve the annual excess insurance renewal program for fiscal year 2021 to include property, primary, and excess liability crime, cybersecurity liability, excess workers, compensation, environmental pollution, underground storage tanks, fiduciary liability, and foreign travel insurance purchased through the city's insurance broker, Willis Towers Watson. This, any comments or discussion for the council or a motion on item 6A2?
Moved.
It's been moved by Councilman Navarro. Is there a second?
I second, Mayor.
Second by Councilmember Keating. We'll do a roll call vote. Councilman Navarro.
Aye.
Councilmember Keating.
Told I should say aye.
Councilmember Chin.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Cubey.
Aye.
Councilmember Arredondo Savage.
Aye, Mayor.
And Councilmember Adams.
Aye.
I vote aye as well. That motion passes 7-0. Next item is item 6A3 is to approve the utilization of a one-year State of Arizona contract with Premise One LLC for the purchase and installation of building security system upgrades, including video management systems, hardware and software, and the physical door card access in the city facilities such as the library complex, water plant, and delivery network and public safety sites. Any comments or discussion on item 6A3 or a motion on item 6A3?
So moved, Lauren.
Moved by Vice
Second, Mayor.
Seconded by Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Roll call vote. Councilman Navarro. Councilmember Keating.
Yes.
Councilman Navarro. Councilmember Chin.
Yes.
Aye, Mayor.
Vice Mayor Cubey.
Aye.
Councilmember Arredondo Savage.
Aye, Mayor.
Councilmember Adams.
Aye.
I vote aye as well. That motion passes 7-0. Next is item 6A4 is award a 3-year contract with 2 one-year renewal options for Applied LNG Technologies LLC to supply liquefied natural gas to support the city's transit and fleet operations. Any comments or discussion or a motion from council?
So moved, Mayor.
Moved by Councilmember Savage.
Second.
Second, I'm sorry, who was that?
Second, Councilmember Navarro.
Councilman Navarro. All right, roll call vote. Councilman Navarro.
Aye.
Councilmember Keating.
Yes.
Councilmember Chin.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Keating.
Aye.
Councilman Arredondo Savage.
Aye, Mayor.
Councilman Adams. Councilman Adams. Jennifer.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. You vote aye? I vote aye as well. That motion passes 7-0. Item 6A5 is to award a construction manager at risk construction contracts to Arch and Gardner Construction LLC for the water line replacement at Clark and University and Daly Park neighborhoods. Project located in the Clark Park neighborhood between 13th Street and Broadway Road and Hardy Drive and Mill Avenue, the University Park Estates neighborhood between the Union Pacific Railroad and Apache Boulevard and Mill and College Avenues, and the Daly Park neighborhood between Apache Boulevard and Broadway Road and College Avenue and Rural Road. Is there a motion on item 6A5?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember
Second.
Chin. Seconded by Councilmember Arredondo Savage.
Adams.
Adams, okay, thank you. Do a roll call vote. Councilor Navarro.
Yes.
Councilmember Keating.
Yes.
Councilmember King.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Kuby.
Aye. Aye.
Councilmember Arredondo Savage.
Aye, Mayor.
Councilmember Adams.
Aye.
I vote aye as well. That motion passes 7-0. Next is item 6A6 is to award a one-year contract with 5 one-year renewal options to ACT Towing. The LLC does business as All City Towing, Apache Sands Service Center LLC Inc. does business as Apache Sands Towing, and Professional Towing and Recovery LLC for vehicle towing services utilized by the Police and Municipal Utilities Department. Is there a motion on item 6A6?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Navarro. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Chin. Do a roll call vote. Councilman Navarro.
Aye.
Councilmember Keating.
Yes.
Councilmember Chin.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Kuby.
Aye.
Councilmember Arredondo Savage.
Mayor. Aye.
Councilmember Adams.
Aye.
And I as well. That motion passes 7-0. The next section of the non-consent agenda is ordinance and items for introduction and first hearing. These items will be read and introduced tonight, but no vote will be taken. The second hearing and final vote of these items is scheduled for August 13th. So ordinance and items for introduction and first hearing, item 6B1 is to introduce and hold the first public hearing to adopt an ordinance authorizing the transfer of real property located at 101 South Perry Lane to Curmando Partners LLC and authorizing the mayor as designee to execute all associated agreements, addendums, conveyances, and other related documents. The second and final public hearing is scheduled for August 13, 2020. This is a public hearing item. Is there anyone in the audience, or Madam Clerk, do we have anyone in the audience who to speak?
None for this item.
All right, thank you for that. Any comments from the council? Seeing none, move on. Next item is 6B2 is to introduce and hold the first public hearing and adopt an ordinance authorizing the issuance of a license for special use to Zayo Group LLC for underground communication lines across a portion of the city-owned property located at 2200 West Alameda Drive, otherwise known as Tempe Gallo Stadium. The second and final public hearing is August 13th, 2020. Any comments or discussion on item 6B2? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, do you have any comments?
Nothing for this item, Mayor.
Thank you. Moving on is ordinance and items for second hearing and final discussion. Staff asks that we delay items 61, 62, and 63 regarding the urban code district, and urban core master plan and related general plan amendments to the October 15, 2020 regular council meeting. I do have some comments on this. And I just want to mention this because we are looking to postpone this item to October 15th. But first, I want to thank the Tempe Community Development, the Community Development Department, and all the staff members throughout the city on this particular item for all their work. This is a huge project, as we all know. Some of the staff members' names that I'm going to read: Chad Weaver, Ryan Levesque, Robbie Aaron, Sarah Adenami, Mbika Adeharki, Paul Bentley, Joe Bushbacker, Naomi Farrell, Eric Iverson, Braden Kay, Donna Kennedy, Levon Lamy, Amanda Nelson, Bonnie Richardson, Vanessa Spartan, Shauna Warner, Mark Weber, and Robert Yabez. You know, I want you all to know that we as a council really appreciate the literally thousands of hours that has gone into the public process for the urban core master plan. And I'd like to thank Chad Weaver as the department director for the job that he did to organize the effort with his staff. It speaks volumes of how well you work with your department and that you're able to organize 14 public meetings, 5 focus groups, 30 stakeholder meetings. It's great to see a department come together with other departments within the city. This is a very complex issue. which requires complex solutions. And I appreciate that you and your staff have put forth such a public process for the many stakeholders in our community. And I know that further input and work is needed, but if it's not for planning for future development, that stuff that's coming forward is going to help us be a better community as we grow in our community. The strength of the overarching plan is that it comprises, it's very comprehensive, and it takes our values as a city, as a vision from the council into account. It takes into account affordable housing, historic preservation, sustainability. And I really appreciate the work, and I'm hopeful that conversations regarding the core tenets of the urban core will continue. With that, is there any comments that we have received? Any comments from the public on this item, Madam Clerk?
No, we have not, Mayor.
Okay. Any comments from the council? I mean, staff has asked that we delay it. Any comments from council? Or a motion to delay it? I think we need to have a motion to delay.
So moved.
Second, Mayor.
It's been moved by Councilman Navarro, second by Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Do we need to vote on that? We don't need to vote on that, do we? We have a vote to, okay, so we have a motion to postpone item 6C1, 6C2, 6C3 to October 15th. So it's been moved by Councilman Navarro, seconded by Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Do a roll call vote. Councilman Navarro?
Aye.
Councilmember Keating?
Yes.
Councilmember Chin?
Aye.
Mayor Cubey?
Aye.
Councilmember Arredondo Savage?
Aye, Mayor.
Councilmember Adams?
Aye.
And I vote aye. That motion passes 7-0 to postpone item 6C1, 6C2, 6C3. Moving on to item 6C4 is the second and final public hearing to adopt an ordinance for a zoning map amendment for the CSS TOD and the R-4 TOD to the MU4 TOD and the planned area development overlay to establish development standards, a public hearing to adopt a resolution authorizing a general plan projected density map amendment from medium density to high density, and a development plan review for a new 4-story mixed-use development consisting of 187 dwelling units and commercial uses for Blue at East Line Village, located at 2058 East Apache Boulevard. The applicant is Gamage and Burnham PLC. The resolution is authorizing the general plan amendment, requires at least 2/3 vote in the city council, which needs 5 of 7 for approval. With the applicant, is Ms. Vaz here? Would you like to make a statement?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. For your record, my name is Manjula Vaz, law firm of Gamage and Burnham. First, just briefly, I just want to say, Mr. Mayor and Councilman Chin, I've known you both for a long time, and I just want to say thank you both for your service, and to this community, both on the council, and I look forward to seeing you in person. We can all celebrate your service, but thank you. I made a pretty large presentation last week, so with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. I won't give another statement, but I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any. Otherwise, we look forward to your support.
Nicely done. Is there any comments from the council on item 6C4?
No, Mayor, I move approval.
It's been moved by Councilman Arredondo Savage and seconded by Councilmember Chin. I'm going to do a roll call vote. Well, let me restate this. The first vote is for the zoning map amendment and the planned area development overlay. So if Robin, can you make a motion for that? And then Councilmember Chin second that?
Yes, Mayor, so moved.
Seconded.
Okay, we're going to do a roll call vote. Councilman Navarro?
Aye.
Councilmember Keating?
Yes.
Councilmember Chin?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Cubey,
Aye.
Councilmember Ardano Savage,
Aye, Mayor.
Councilmember Adams.
Aye.
I vote aye as well. That motion passes 7-0. I'm looking for a second motion for a vote on the general plan projected land use map amendment and projected density map amendment.
So move, Mayor.
Moved by Councilmember Ardano Savage. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Chin. Roll call vote. Councilman Navarro.
Aye.
Councilmember Keeney.
Yes.
Councilmember Chin.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Cubey.
Aye.
Councilmember Ardano Savage.
Aye, Mayor.
Councilmember Adams.
Aye.
I vote aye as well. We have a third vote we need to take on this item, and it's on the development plan review. We ask for a motion to approve the development plan review. Is there a motion?
So move, Mayor.
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Councilmember Ardano Savage. Seconded by
Second.
Councilmember Keeney. Seconded by Councilmember Keeney. Roll call vote. Councilman Navarro.
Aye.
Councilmember Keeney.
Yes.
Councilmember Chin.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Cubey.
Aye. I'm sorry. Aye.
Councilmember Ardano Savage.
Aye, Mayor.
And Councilmember Adams.
Aye.
I vote aye as well. That motion passes 7-0. Next is item 6C6, is to hold a second and final public hearing to adopt an ordinance amending Charter 2 articles of the Tempe City Code relating to administration by amending Article 5 relating to the boards and commissions, et cetera, by adding Division 24, Sections 2-399-5 through 2-399.7. This is a public hearing item. Is there, Madam Clerk, is there anyone in the public willing to address this?
We received no input for this item, Mayor.
Okay. With that, is there a motion on item 6C5?
So moved.
I second.
All right. Sorry.
Mr. Mayor, can we have discussion?
Yeah, we can have discussion. First, before we go to discussion, who made the motion?
That was Councilmember Chin.
Yeah, okay, Councilmember Chin, who seconded it? Adams?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion, Vice Mayor Cubey?
Yeah, I'm thinking about the governor's press conference today. He really acknowledged the dangers that Arizona is facing now, especially with hospital bed capacity.
Lauren, we're on item 6C5.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, I apologize. I'll get back.
All right, so we have a motion from Councilmember Chin and seconded by Councilmember Adams. Roll call vote. Councilman Navarro.
Aye.
Councilmember Keating.
Yes.
Councilmember Chin.
Aye.
Councilmember or Vice Mayor Cubey.
Aye, egg on my face.
Councilmember Ardano Savage.
Aye, Mayor.
Councilmember Adams. Councilmember Adams.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yes.
Aye. I don't know. My computer doesn't seem to be wanting to cooperate.
All right, that motion, and I vote aye, that motion passes 7-0. Now, the next item on the section is item 6C6. Is to introduce and hold the first and final public hearing to adopt an ordinance 02020.16 to repeal emergency ordinance number 02020.07 that declared an emergency relating to the COVID-19 public health pandemic. And before we say anything, I want to make a comment, and before I go to my colleagues. Before we vote on this, I would just like to thank my colleagues for trusting me with the emergency powers over the last 3 months. The ability to be able to rule by proclamation has allowed us to be able to address the coronavirus pandemic and to help stop its spread in Tempe and our region. The mask requirement put into place last week by Tempe, Maricopa County, and other cities across the county will help stem the huge increases that we're seeing in the community transmission. Now, no one can say that my last few months of service haven't been probably the most interesting on a scientific level and difficult on a human level in the history of the city of Tempe. And I just want to thank my colleagues for their support during this time and during these unprecedented times. With that, I will now go to Vice Mayor Kuby and then Councilmember Key.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And given the terrible trend in Arizona right now, and Governor gave a press conference this afternoon, he talked about how we're likely to max out our hospital capacity. He actually called on cities to be stronger in enforcing all the rules and guidelines that we've seen being violated. And so I don't think we should rescind the mayor's or the future mayor's emergency powers at this time. And here's why. The state leads the nation in doubling time. I think every 13 days we double our cases. So the state's not in a good place. And what's troubling for Tempe especially is that the total number of positive cases in Tempe since the beginning has doubled. Just in the past 11 days, we've seen a doubling of cases in Tempe. So we gave you powers and used them so well, Mr. Mayor, because we knew the city needed to act quickly in times to make decisions and keep the public safe. So we're about to go on a July break. We're not going to have another meeting until August 13th. And I know this, if we vote today in the positive, there'll be a 30-day delay, but I feel that circumstances could improve rapidly or they could deteriorate rapidly. The governor says he expects things to get far worse in the last 2 weeks, and we've been at the worst. So, I worry with council members perhaps going on vacation that emergency meetings may not be so easy to call. So I don't feel comfortable right now in rescinding the emergency powers for you, Mr. Mayor, or for the mayor, the mayor-elect Woods. I feel like we should wait until August to make that decision because we have a lot of time to go through, and I'm really concerned about the next month, as is the governor, as is most scientists and epidemiologists. Thank you. So I'll be voting no.
Thank you. Councilmember Keating.
Thank you, Mayor. I happen to agree with quite a bit that the Vice Mayor just said. I'm not sure why this is actually being considered even. I don't know if it's just a transition of power or whatever, but the emergency powers exist for situations like this. I don't think that having the decisions that have to be made sometimes on a minute by minute level aren't best served as done by a committee. The situation is certainly worse off today than it was when we granted these emergency powers. So I just don't see a reason, and maybe I'm missing something, to rescind them now. The Vice Mayor also points out that we won't be meeting again until August in any real sense, and the situation is very fluid. So I think we need to make sure that the city government has the authority and the powers needed to be to protect Tempeans if the crisis gets worse. And if it gets better, then we can revisit it in August. But until, to borrow a phrase from Governor Ducey, until we're clearly on the other side of this epidemic, I think emergency powers should rest with the mayor. Thank you. I'll be voting no.
Councilmember Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I completely agree with Councilmember Keating and Kuby. I do not believe that we need to rescind any powers right now of the mayor and mayor-elect during this terrible time of crisis and uncertainty. So I will be voting no also.
Before I go to Councilman Navarro, because he's going to be next, just so you guys know, the emergency, whatever we do tonight, the emergency proclamation is still in effect for 30 more days. And if you want to, even as the new council comes on, if there's a need to continue this, I mean, you could call it a virtual emergency meeting, and he can have the. I mean, he's still going to have the powers, and Mayor-elect will have the powers until July 25th. So I hear what you're saying, but this way, either way, I mean, the mayor will have. I mean, when he comes in, he can make that decision on July 2nd. Just wanted to let you guys know that. And by the way, I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I still think that what I just said, that even if you rescinded it now, it's still in effect for 30 days. And
to that point, Mr. Mayor?
When the new council takes office on July 2nd, that there's an opportunity where Mayor-elect Woods can continue the emergency proclamation along with all of you. Right? Before you say, let me go to Councilman Navarro.
Thanks, Mayor.
Joel,
no, I hear what you're. Thank you, Mayor. I hear what you're saying, but I think it can also work the other way too. With the things that we're seeing in the fire department and what's going on, I would have to agree with the rest of my council members that have voiced their opinions. I think that we kind of need this thing still going. However, in 30 days, or if we see something going the other way, I think it could work also the other direction. The newly elected mayor can also make the agreement to take away, or not take away, but actually rescind those powers if needed. But for right now, I think it's probably very proactive just to keep us going in this direction to have those powers as needed as we continue on with this crisis.
I get it. You guys can go ahead and make a motion to deny this. It's fine either way.
Mayor, I move we deny.
And I just wanted to give you guys that opportunity. That's all. So Councilman King made a motion to deny. Is there a second?
I second. Jennifer.
Seconded by Councilmember Adams. Do a roll call vote. Councilman Navarro.
Aye.
Councilmember King.
Yes.
Councilmember Chin.
Aye.
Councilmember Kiwi.
Aye.
Councilmember Savage.
Aye, Mayor.
Councilmember Adams.
Aye.
I vote aye as well. Again, I was just trying to give this the opportunity, because even if you did rescind it, it's still in effect for 30 days. And when the new council and mayor takes office, it will still be in effect. So that's why. All right. With that, I do want to go to current events and announcements. And I do have to say something, because I wanted to save the best for last, because I was getting choked up earlier. I can't thank Elizabeth Higgins and Brianna Fisher for everything that you guys have done. I will tell you, Elizabeth, you have a lot on your shoulders, not only being the chief of staff for me, but also for the council. And I know all 7 council members have gone to you for their needs, and I can't thank you enough for balancing 7 different personalities that you have to deal with, and on top of that, I wonder why you do yoga to give you some calm and peace, because it's a thankless job, but at the same time, it's one of the most important jobs that you have, and I really can't thank you for what you've done to me personally. I've known you for many, many years, and it's been an honor to work with you, and I know you're going to do great things in your future. And thank you so much for being there, for supporting the council, myself, and the city. You mean a lot to the city and to the staff. And to Brianne, it's been almost 2 years. Yeah, you have really grown since you've been here, and I can't thank you enough for the work that you've done and the work that you're going to continue to do. You're like my little, I mean, you could be my daughter, and that makes me sound really old, but I will tell you, I'm very proud of the fact that when we were looking for a mayor's aide, that you came to the city, you had good experience, you have a good background, You're thoughtful, you're passionate, you're caring, as is Elizabeth. And I was very lucky to have you both by my side, by the council side, to answer any questions the council members could have. It is a good team because we were able to communicate and navigate a lot of stuff that's going on in the city. And for that, I'm very grateful for both of you. So thank you so much. You guys mean the world to me. With that, I am going to go to the council. If there's any announcements, and before I do, I got one more thing. Don't forget, this Saturday is the State of the Neighborhoods at 9 o'clock. It is virtual. I apologize. And I want to thank all the council members for partaking in giving out the awards. We did drive-bys because of the COVID pandemic. I really want to thank you for that. It is 9 o'clock. The State of the Neighborhoods is virtual. You can go to our city's, it's a Facebook event, actually. It is a Facebook event for the city of Tempe, the Channel 11. So I hope to see you all there. It's going to be, it's my last speech. So you thought my speech was okay tonight. Next one's going to be better because we're recognizing something that's near and dear to me, which is the neighborhoods, and our neighborhoods are the cornerstone of our community. So and with that, I will now go down the line for my council colleagues. If you have any comments or future comments, Councilman Navarro.
None, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilman Keating.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, actually, you know what? I wanted to acknowledge Chief of Staff Higgins as well. I meant to mention her in my earlier statement when I was talking about how you were kind of the one person that I felt like I could come to, that I never questioned your motives or anything like that. And Chief of Staff Higgins certainly was another one of those people. And I leaned on her way more than I should, and probably way more than she's made clear. But she was instrumental in helping me in my first term, and I think we're going to miss her on the third floor. So, I know she's going to another opportunity in the city, and I know she'll do great there. But I just wanted to say publicly that Elizabeth Higgins is a good friend, and I'm going to miss her. And thank you for everything.
Thank you, Councilmember Chin.
Thank you, Mayor Mitchell. Yes, just also to thank Fran and Elizabeth, but also my council aide, Alex Chin, no relation, for all of the work he has done in assisting me and all of the other council members. Thank you, Alex.
Vice Mayor Cubey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There wasn't an opportunity to speak before, so I do want to say, I make a comment about this settlement with the Arce family. And there's been these punctuated times in this whole tragedy where we've had the opportunity to speak or not to speak, but I just want to say that I know that this settlement can't take away the pain that his family is experiencing or the loss they've suffered due to the actions of a Tempe police officer. And I hope the family, like you said, Mr. Mayor, so eloquently, can find healing. I am so sorry for your loss. I'm so sorry that it was in Tempe. I want to thank, though, the social justice community for coming forward to stand in solidarity with Arce family and literally hold up Antonio's mother when the tragedy was just so powerful and so intense that she could not stand. So while this settlement marks the end of this legal process, I'm keenly aware that a deeper conversation lies ahead about the future of policing, about institutional racism. We have so much to talk about. I know it's just the beginning, and it's a conversation I'm eager to have, and I'm also eager to take action. My condolences to the Antonio Arce family and to the entire community.
Thank you. We're going to now go on to Councilmember Ardana Savage.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just a couple things really quick. Again, I can't thank you enough for your service for your mentorship, and, you know, most importantly, for your friendship. And I'm definitely going to miss you. And I have appreciated working with you every single minute, even the times we didn't get along or agree. But you know, I think we have so much respect for each other that's never going to change. So I certainly do appreciate that. And I just want to take a quick second to say something to our chief of staff, who I like to refer to as Higgs, Elizabeth Higgins. You have definitely been so instrumental, I think, in regards to our forward movement as a unit, as a council. Not only are you dealing with 7 different people, personalities, methods of operation, but you know, bringing everybody together to try to find some common ground and continue to move this community forward. That doesn't happen without you and with your efforts. I mean, those numbers of working groups that we had and that you had to try to keep together and keep going and finding completion and finality, I gotta commend you for that. That is pretty impressive. And just overall, I think for your relationship with myself and really helping me be the best council member that I can be. I have really appreciated you always taking all my questions and then more questions and then dealing with my ideas. And it really does mean a lot that you have just been, you know, really efficient and responsive. And it really cares that you do care about this community and you care about the people within this community and our staff. And it is always shown, and you have always led that way. So I just want to say thank you so much for that. And whoever thought that I would actually like yoga? I mean, granted, I'm not that great at it, but I got to tell you, I really do appreciate it. I enjoy it. And I'm grateful for you for bringing that into my life. So thank you. I will miss you. And but I look forward to seeing you. And I know that the attorney's office is very, very lucky to have you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. All right. Councilmember Adams.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I am going to miss Elizabeth, and we'll continue to work with Brianne and look forward to that. But Elizabeth, I know where you're going to be located, so we'll be reaching out to you and seeing how things are going. And thank you so much for your years of service to the city of Tempe, and we're better off that we had you. I also want to announce that on July 11th at 1 p.m., I will be hosting my community event, Join Jennifer, virtually on Cisco WebEx for zip code 85282. While the topics most interest those living in 85282, everyone is welcome. We're going to have Assistant Fire Chief Andrea Glass, and she's going to be presenting on COVID, and she'll be doing Q&A with the community, so feel free to join the call. Information on how to attend virtually can be found on the City of Tempe website or at tempe.gov/Adams. That's tempe.gov/Adams. Second, I want to wish everyone a happy 4th of July. And it's please be safe and healthy out there. So happy 4th of July. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. Now we're going to turn, Carla, do we have any public comments?
We do have a handful of requests to speak and a few cards to read into the record.
Okay.
First request to speak is from Carrie Brennan.
Okay. Carrie, we have your name.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yep. Yes, we
Great.
can.
Hi, my name is Carrie Brennan. I live in Tempe. I'm in 85281. And I just wanted to make a comment on the approval of the settlement for the family of Antonio Arce. Like all of you, I really agree no amount of money can replace the loss of a child, but appreciate the agreement of the council in approving that settlement. I do want to ask the council to please take action to ensure that the funds for the settlement and any future settlements regarding police misconduct will be paid out directly from the Tempe police budget or pension fund. And this is to ensure that the settlement will have no effect on the rest of the city budget so that the police department is held directly accountable for their violent actions rather than siphoning money from the city's essential community investments. Thank you.
Next speaker, Brian Fellows.
All right. Brian, please state your place of residence for the record.
Yeah, my name is Brian Fellows. I'm at 1406 East Wesleyan in Tempe, 85282. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of council. I'd like to spend a couple minutes talking about the speed limit study. I also serve as the, excuse me, the chair of the Tempe Transportation Commission. I'd like just to go over a few points, please. First of all, point one, lower speed limits don't always mean slower overall vehicle travel times, people getting from point A to point B. Those travel times are a function not only just of speed limit, but also of signal timing. There are scenarios where a street that has been strategically lowered with lower speed limits with proper signal timing, people can get to their destination from point A to point B, often with the same or faster speed than an identical street that the signals have not been timed, but the speed limits are higher. Point two, alternative C that you know of, as you saw in your previous packet, the one that refers to action at high schools only. This covers the smallest geographical area of any of the alternatives and could likewise have the least positive effect relative to the other alternatives. Point three, I looked at all the 230 some odd public comment responses that Julian Dresang and his excellent staff conducted over a many-month period. I found that 38% were in favor, 31% were not in favor, but then there was another group, a unique group, some of them specifically I call conditionals. Some of them came from the yeses and some of them came from the no's, but the conditionals were basically, we think this would work, but only north of baseline. Other people said, we don't think this would work in the whole city, but it would work somewhere, or just not in South Tempe. So if you add those conditionals onto the in favors, you get 52% are in favor of some kind of speed limit reduction. Also, 22.3% within that did mention that enforcement or lack of enforcement is a problem. My last point, if it's the desire of the council, the Transportation Commission is very willing to work with engineering and transportation staff to craft kind of a hybrid compromise alternative. One example of that would be one that starts with alternative B, that deals with strategic speed limit reductions north of baseline, and add 2 or 3 high crash locations south of baseline that we know based on the city's data do have an amount of fatals and serious injuries, and we'd be more than willing to craft one of those and bring it back to you later on this year. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Next, I think we have Jacqueline.
Correct.
Jacqueline, can you please state your name and place of residence for the record?
Mr. Mayor, this is Alex. Jacqueline is not listed as an attendee, but there is a caller that is unidentified, and I'm going to go ahead and unmute that individual.
Okay. Is this Jacqueline? Hello?
Okay, next is Sean Brennan.
Hello.
Hi, Sean. Please place of residence for the record.
Yes, it is 8313 North 27th. That is in Phoenix, Arizona. And I just had a short statement prepared. It was actually great getting to sit in and listen to all of you. You had such nice words to say about your colleagues for a few hours. And I'd like to use my time here today to call into action everyone on this council and who are listening today to do 2 things. First off, in Tempe, I'd like to touch on what is a rather outlandish police budget in relation to city funding that I think needs to be addressed. The proposed budget for the 20 to 21 year is over $102 million, which makes up 13% of the city's overall budget, which is actually the second highest city funded department. So that 13% is actually quite a big number. And, I sit here and I listen to the praise for growing the city and, the rainy day fund and everything. However, the unfortunate aspect is that money is not going into the community. Someone else brought up Antonio Arce, who's, another poor brown kid who's shot in the back at 14 years old. Meanwhile, the Tempe Police Department is the second highest city funded department. And in my research on Antonio, I found out that this 14-year-old often had to do work to earn money for his family to be able to buy tortillas. So they, or feel as though they have no other option but to acquire food by other means, and because they cannot pay for it, because the system in their city are not set up for them to succeed. It is clearly being funded to police them, to lock them up. I recently had an inmate tell me that he was born and raised in the Arizona prison system. He told me he was arrested and sent to juvenile hall at 8 years old for stealing a candy bar from a grocery store. And he was in jail in his 20s when he told this to me. So that's an entire person's life ruined for what shouldn't even be considered a crime at that age. But so words, for those who will listen, offer the enunciation of truth. And the truth is there is something terribly wrong with the state of Arizona. And speaking of history, which some of you appreciated the mayor for knowing the history so well, one thing I would like to bring up is the memorial, the Confederate Memorial in Phoenix, which I know that's not in Tempe, but I challenge not just the mayor and the next mayor-elect Corey Lloyds, but I also challenge every single council member that hears this today to use your power and your voice and maybe talk to those in Phoenix and maybe do what needs to be done to talk to Ducey to get this Confederate monument removed. Over the years, we've had multiple organizations, multiple people ask for it to be removed. The latest thing we were told by Ducey is he's leaving it up to public process, which is an undefined statement, and people...
Thank you very much. Sean, your time is up, so you're going to have to give it like 10 seconds.
All right, so the last thing I'll say is, but in the meantime and forever forward, I challenge each and every one of you to stand up and make your voices known that we will no longer tolerate these social injustices, these monuments to traitors and tyrants, this collapse.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Rob Ferraro.
Mayor, members of the City Council, and Tempe residents. My name is Rob Ferraro. I reside in Chandler, and I'm the president of the Tempe Officers Association. By now, I have spoken to many of you personally, but I wanted to address the residents of Tempe as well. As a police officer for 13 years, I cannot recall a moment on the job where I was more angry or more grief-stricken than when I saw the video capturing the death of George Floyd. To watch those nearly 9 minutes and to know that Mr. Floyd lost his life at the hands of a fellow police officer left me heartbroken, furious, and after a period of reflection, very much determined. As police officers, as public servants, and as human beings, we in law enforcement must do better. And speaking now for the nearly 350 members of the TOA, the rank and file, who every day proudly wear the uniform of the Tempe Police Department, we are determined to do better. The members of the TOA are committed to continuing to serve the residents of Tempe with integrity and respect. We are committed to doing our jobs with compassion, empathy, and the utmost professionalism. Every call, every hour, every day. We will do better, but doing better will be nearly impossible if you as council members bend to the sudden call to defund the police. Again, I want to be clear. Tempe is not Minneapolis. We are a part of our community. Our police department can improve, but our police department is not broken unless this council suddenly defunds the police, removing the ability for us to serve our residents and neighbors effectively. There is no evidence that defunding works, nor does there appear to be a plan in place besides simply slashing funding. Let me offer you the rough outline of a better idea. Why don't we bring together stakeholders sincerely open to re-envisioning law enforcement in Tempe? Why don't we have a frank conversation and fact-finding analysis around possible operational changes to the department? Why don't we discuss which calls need a police response and which calls, like nonviolent mental health calls or nonviolent, non-criminal calls concerning the homeless, should not be handled by police officers? Why don't we create benchmarks and metrics to guide this process and to give us insight into how it's working? How about we make such a momentous decision strategically as opposed to a knee-jerk reaction. I'll remind you that just a few weeks ago, at the height of a COVID-19 pandemic that is again spiking, the men and women of our department were hailed as heroes for our commitment to service during an unprecedented national health crisis. And through this service to the community are now increasingly being diagnosed with COVID-19. We are still those very same people. Many of our officers have served Tempe for decades. Some are new to the job with all the enthusiasm and passion that youth brings. We all want to serve Tempe with dignity, respect, and humility. We all want to go home safely each night, having been afforded the same grace we've demonstrated in our interactions with others. We will get this right. We hope you will get it right too, and that you will support us as we work for and serve this city. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Rob. Madam Clerk, we have no more?
I do have a few to read into the record.
Go ahead.
Hold on just one moment. Okay, this one was submitted by Jennifer Schick. She writes, a very short comment on the departure of Arlene Shin from the Tempe City Council upon the conclusion of her term. I want to say thank you to the Mayor and Council for selecting the first Asian American council member for Tempe. Arlene has been a steady and inclusive voice throughout her term, has served her community and neighborhood selflessly, and has done so with sensitivity and flair. Thank you, Arlene. And that's it for the regular council meeting, Mayor.
All right, with that, we will adjourn our regular council meeting. Thank you very much. It's been an honor. And in a few minutes, we're going to convene the Rio Salado Community Facilities District Board meeting.